Evening all. Right, just me today, no Trub. This is just an edited compilation of some of the patrols we're doing, and I thought it'd be good to kind of take a pause and have a conversation about the game. A lot of people have been asking what I think about it, because I guess when we play, it's all live chat, which sounds more dodgy than it really is. I think the game's brilliant. I'm loving it. I've got to admit, I just haven't had the time to play. It's been out, what, about 6 days, 5 days, no less, about 5 days now, and I think we've played probably about 3 hours in total, in total maybe, just because we've been so busy. There's lots going on in IRL. If only we could do this channel full time, eh? But we don't. We have boring normal jobs that we have to go and do, so I'm afraid real life is keeping us down. But I think let's just go through some of the observations we've had. Now, I'll relay some of Trub's observations. We'll carry on the team play in the next couple of videos. But I think firstly our biggest fear, it is a fear, I know I shouldn't start with a negative, but it's getting a bit samey. It's like when you do a single mission, you have to fight through the same areas all the time. I'm not sure I like that. I think there's one, that's probably I think that's certainly Trub's biggest problem with it, but that's also my biggest concern, is I do seem to be just playing through the same areas, killing the same dudes all the time. I think, I know I kind of pissed Trouble off when I just kept saying, well, it's an MMO, is what I like in it, but that's not actually a good reason. That's not a good excuse. There you go. That's a bold statement right there. It's not. You shouldn't have to kind of constantly fight through the same people all the time. Now, it could just be the phenomenally bad way we're playing the game, because we're playing a few missions, then we're doing a bit of patrol, then we're trying to level up, etc. So, you know, and yes, I know we still haven't done the Crucible. That's going to be a separate playlist. Oh, there you go. A little bit of information imparted to you. We're going to do that as a separate playlist, only because I think it just makes a lot more sense to do so. I think the story's quite good though. I mean, I've got to admit, I'm intrigued by it. I'm actually excited by it. I think the vast majority of the game is becoming like Borderlands, where the only real reason you're playing is to get leveled up equipment. So a lot of people are running mission after mission after mission to get the legendary Vanguard items. They look pretty good. But again, is there anything wrong with that? Of course not. That's part of the game. That's actually the fun part of the game, weirdly enough. I think from our point of view, we are loving the game. So let me be very clear. This is just such a great game. I think it's a joy to play something that is a little bit different. Although admittedly, it's not totally different. So there you go. Always got to be a negative, I know. But I think the game as it stands is a very, very enjoyable, good kind of open world shooter. To be honest, it's probably because we've been so kind of, I guess, concerned with the business of getting a video done for it, that we haven't been able to enjoy it like you do, where you actually can sit down on your sofa and just play the game. You know, just enjoy the game from a level of comfort. We've done this it's been so difficult to get root audio working. That has been the most difficult thing I've ever done. It's because I'm a relatively stupid man. But getting it to record both my voice and Trub's voice from Gang, the game audio, all of this, it's just been the biggest nightmare ever. And we found out, interestingly enough, it's because a lot of the consoles now have, well, a lot of systems in general, even Skype, has a level of piracy control protection on it, so nobody can actually Skype you, play you a song down Skype, and then you record it. I know it's kind of ridiculous, but then you do realise that, you know, that they've tried to kind of take measures to avoid that, but in doing so they've made it so you actually can't get multi-channel recording of anything. So just unbelievably complex. It's like they really didn't need to make it this complex. Just because, you know, in essence, somebody could just still sit there with fraps running and record everything. Do you know what I mean? That's the irony, is they literally don't want you to do it. So there's just been this no end of problems getting the audio to work. So the first few videos had trouble echoing. I know we couldn't figure that out one either. We just kind of gave up towards the end, and we then figured out actually there's an easier way to do this, and it was just to use, you know, some of the Adobe platform. There we go. So to be honest, you know, it's been a bit painful up to this point to get this game working. Now, don't get me wrong, we have loved it, we've enjoyed it immensely, but I think the problem is when you're not playing casually, when you're playing with a little bit of frustration in your mind, because you're thinking, crikey, did that work, and oh my god, what if we've lost sound there, and oh hang on, I've lost Trub again, that means the Skype's dropped. You know, it's just painful. So to be honest, this has been quite a chore to do. I'm going to be very honest with you. But having said that, you know, the reality is that the game is fun. It's different. It's exciting. I think there is going to be a very there's going to be longevity in this game. If you don't know what I mean by that, it's just this game I think will be around for quite some time. I don't know, it has that feeling about it. It has that like kind of, I don't know. I think people could go absolutely nuts and try and get the best legendary gear, and that would become what they do. That's their thing. And I'm excited by that. I know, you know, the loot progression system is actually quite enjoyable to us. So owning a few legendary items become like relics, you know, almost like relics of a bygone age. And I think people would love to play that kind of game because it does give them a you know, it gives them reason to play, reason to keep going through the same areas. And I think that was actually our observation is that you know, that what they've kind of done is not necessarily multiple levels. So you've got 4 worlds, that's it, you've got 4 worlds, and each one of them is then just a series of open world maps, like it's very much like Skyrim, but it's a lot smaller. I mean, the maps of this this game aren't small, don't get me wrong, but they're nowhere near as big as Skyrim. They're nowhere near as big as perhaps even Borderlands, which is multi-instance. But none of this matters because, again, it is such a different, varied landscape from world to world as well. So, you know, we've only made it to the moon, but we've seen, you know, footage of what the others look like. And to be honest, I think there is something very exciting about the whole game that I'm really looking forward to playing. And as I look at this footage and speaking to this microphone and talk bollocks, I think the reality is that I'm really excited. I can feel my body urging to play it, and that's a good sign, isn't it? I used to get that with Dust, not anymore. To be honest with you, I think when I watch Dust stuff, I'm interested in it. It's fun, but I think, you know, Dust to me is I don't know. Maybe because we've been there and done that now. I don't know. Don't be worried though, because we are going to still keep doing Dust videos. We still enjoy the game. Let me be clear on that. But I don't think we get the passion that this game seems to give us. And just look at that vista. Isn't that amazing? Look at that. That's incredible, isn't it? I mean, I'm curious to know what actually has happened. I think any game that has a story that makes me think, well, who is the traveller and what's going on? What's the plan? You know, tell me more. I think that's quite cool. I'm really excited to find more out about that. To be clear, Destiny is going to be something that we'll do on the channel for some time now. So I think as we've done Dust for almost, what, a year and a half, 2 years maybe? We're going to do Destiny as well. So, you know, those of you who've rushed ahead and completed the game and are now kind of saying to us, oh my god, you're only on level blah, you know, I'm sorry, but you're going to be saying that for some time. Because we're taking our time with this. The worst thing we could do now is to rush through and almost kind of satiate ourselves with it. Do you know what I mean? Get to the point where we actually think, oh, I've done that now. Right, let's go on, next game. Because I think to us, we are going to take our time with it. We're going to do the PvP, obviously, the Crucible as well. So we're just going to really, you know, like I said in the previous videos, like a fine wine, and then in brackets, like a good woman. You got to take your time. You got to build up. You got to work. You got to make it steadily. I don't know what I'm talking about. What am I talking about? I'm just the worst person to know that. I think, to be honest, we're at that point where we just want to enjoy what the game has to offer, and I would recommend others do the same. I think if you've played it through and you've rushed through it and you've completed it blue, then good on you. But I think, you know, maybe just start another character and try again and see how you feel. Take your time, play as a particular style. You know, I like that. I think one of the things Trouble does very well is she's a very good support sniper. So if I run in like I'm here, I know that she's got my back because she'll then shoot dudes in the face while I'm trying to kill them. So, you know, do it with a bit of tactics. Find a buddy, play it with a buddy, see how you get on. And I think, you know, you'll find that actually it's a very rich, enjoyable, I guess, interesting game. And I heartily recommend it. I think it's one of the few games out there that is trying to be different. It is trying to break the mold and be slightly unusual in what it does. And I think, to be honest, you're going to find that you're going to have a real sort of fun experience with this game if you take your time. If you gulp it down and you're kind of like, right, done that, then I honestly can't see how you can have enjoyed it, because you're just racing through it. You're not even trying to, you know, soak in the ambience. You're not trying to... you know, I did this with... Let me tell you a story. I did this with Dawn of War 2. I hated Dawn of War 2 when I first played it. Weirdly enough, you're about to get a video of it, which is quite funny. Or maybe even have seen already. But anyway, I love Dawn of War, the original, right? That's the Warhammer 40k thing. Such a great RTS, brilliant. And when Dawn of War 2 came out, I was distraught that you only had like 6, 7 Marines. I was like, what the hell? Because I was gutted. To me, that felt like such a step backwards. And I played it through at supersonic speed, and I got to the end like, yeah, it's all right, and I walked away. Now, I picked it up recently because Games for Windows has now died. Yay! Rejoice! Rejoice, the beast is slain. So all of those games that were actually really good, that were on Games for Windows that you could never log into and actually properly play, are now open to you. They're on Steam now, so they're actually accessed through Steam. So long story short, that's an example of a game that I'm now taking my time with, and oh my god, it's fun. So what I'm doing is, instead of just like leveling up stupidly, I'm actually thinking to myself, right, let's supercharge each character to do one thing incredibly well. And lo and behold, I now have a team who, quite frankly, would shatter the Emperor's mind if they had the opportunity to. That's how good it is. And I just think this is what you should do. So with Destiny, you should do exactly the same. You should target a style that you like doing. So if you like sniping, then make the best sniper you've got. And I think you'll find actually that's fun, and that's really the part of the game that you should be enjoying the most. I say this as just somebody who knows that, if you end up being general and generally everything, general stuff, you're not really going to be able to unlock the potency of a particular thing. So, definitely do that. I think for me, it's going to be all rockets all the way. I love rockets. I think they're funny. I think they're just so good. I like the hand cannon as well, as I get stomped to the floor. I do like the hand cannon as well, but I think generally we're going to go with stuff that makes you smile and laugh. And I think I really would recommend that you try that. And Dawn of War is a great example of where, you should just play it through a little bit slower. Do the side missions, take your time, and you'll find actually there is a huge amount of enjoyment to be had in these games. And I really do mean that. I think people who played it through too soon, I urge you just to come back and try it in a much slower fashion. It's not a race. It's not a race. And the only person you're racing is you. Because I'm sure you think other people are racing, but I honestly think you're wrong. I think you should try and enjoy the game at your own pace and have fun doing so. We're loving just playing through the missions, seeing how we feel, getting on with it, and just enjoying everything about it. It is a satisfying game, I can tell you that. And I think at the end of the day, that's really all that matters when you look at it. So there we go. I think this is the first one. We'll do more of a review next time. I think that was an introduction to what I think our thoughts are. Hopefully you're enjoying the series. Post in the comments, tell us how they could be better. And I hope you enjoyed that. We'll see you next time.